Hello everybody, welcome to RenderBots. My name is James and today we're going to be looking at a great piece of software called Maxwell Render. Maxwell Render comes from a company called Maxwell. Let's take a look at their website. Here it is. And basically what Maxwell Render is another way to render your Cinema 4D projects out of Cinema 4D. So unlike the conventional button where we'd normally go and press and it would give us lights and things, Maxwell Render takes over that whole system for us and produces the most stunningest results that I've probably ever seen. And here's just a demonstration via the home page of what it can achieve. It really is quite awesome. So some really stunning effects here. I was introduced to Maxwell Render from a great friend called Rob Redman. He runs a really great blog over at Pariah Studios, which I'll put his link down here for you. So Rob introduced me to Maxwell Render, and I've got to say the results are just absolutely stunning, as you can see, almost lifelike. What's great about Maxwell is they provide some really great resources, and one of those resources is obviously not only training and things like that, but basically great materials. So here we can see I've got a whole bunch of materials here via this website here, resources.maxwellrender.com, and in here I can actually search for anything I like. So if I just type in wood into here, and this is just their website live, you can see that straight away the quality of the textures are just absolutely superb. Probably the best you're ever going to come across. They're beautifully lit, and the idea is even if you don't have Maxwell Render, you can download these. You don't have to be a member, you can just go ahead and come and download them. It really is absolutely superb, and the quality of them are, as I said, second to none. So that's Maxwell Render. So they offer student licenses for free. So if you're a student and you want to try this out, you can actually try it all out for free. So jump over to Maxwell Render's website and go and take a look. So I'm going to be showing you how to create a little scene inside of here that I've already created. Let's take a look at that. And here it is. As you see, I've just got a kind of 70s wallpaper. Again, I downloaded that from Maxwell's website. I've got a kind of wood table here and a lamp made of chrome and a light fit in here. We've also got a picture here. We may or may not do that during this session, but I just want to show you how amazing it is to create such a realistic render using Maxwell. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do it. So here we are in Cinema 4D. Now, for Maxwell to work really well, we have to make sure we use things to scale. Okay, so scale is really important in Cinema 4D in general. So the first thing we do is kind of create some walls for Cinema 4D. For our rooms, excuse me, for our room. We've got the word cube here, and straight away I'm going to come down to this cube and start to go ahead and change the properties down here in our window, all the way down here. So we've got our first wall. It's 369 centimeters. The height is 200 centimeters, which is about 2 meters. Depth, just make that about, doesn't really matter. Give it 11. Okay, so there's our first wall. Now Command C, Command V, that'll copy that, and it will give us 2 walls, as you can see here. Now what I'm going to do is go over to my rotation section here. Now if I start to rotate, I'm going to guess the size, right? If I the rotation, but if I hold down the Shift key, it'll lock it to a proper rotation. It's cool, eh? But you've got to start rotating it first. Great little tip there again from my good friend Rob Redman there. So once I've got it to that idea, we can click and drag and start to make this like that. There we go. So there's our first corner of the room. Now, because I'm a little bit lazy, if you like, what I'm going to do is take that one, Command C, Command V. That'll give me my second wall there. Give it a click about there. Click on this one, Command C, Command V. Now let me drag that across to there. So what we've got is a simple box shape. Now there's obviously loads of ways that you can create this room. This is just one of the simplest ones I like. Now what I'm going to do is go to my shapes, my primitives, go to a plane. As you see, the plane is there. I'm going to drag that over, put it somewhere there. Again, we just want to make sure it kind of covers the floor area, which is that's going to do beautifully. drag that down to the bottom. Command C, Command V, copy that and paste it to the top of there like so. So what we've got is two top and floor and bottom. So good thing to do now is quickly rename these. So double click them, floor, oh, hello, there you go. Roof or ceiling, if you can spell ceiling. And these are all just our walls. Now I don't need to really worry about that, but I'm going to call that front wall. Okay. The reason I call that front wall is because what I'm going to do is going to push that away. Okay. So by pushing this away, I can now go inside there. And it's really important that we do have that wall, because the idea when light is shining, it's going to bounce around the room. So we need to make sure that it's got something to bounce around, otherwise the light won't look correct in the room. So as you see, I've just pulled that wall using that arrow. Oh, excuse me. Using this blue arrow here, pulling it away from the centre, out of the way. Okay. So we're going to put that to the top because I'm going to need that. Now, a good thing to do is also create a camera inside of here. This is going to help me move things around. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and create something for the camera to look at. So let's go to the primitives again. And this is going to be our kind of draw, if you like. So for it to be our draw, what we're going to do is we're going to get the settings for that. The settings are going to be, say it's our draw, it's kind of our sideboard really, 71 and 36. There we go. And again, what's good about this, it does start to give you the idea of scale and size. So I've created that beautifully inside of there. Let's push the camera in. We're going to kind of utch it up into the corner there so the light's got something to bounce around inside there. Now, right, I'm now going to set my camera up. So I've got the basically I've got the camera in a position that I'm probably going to use to render out. So let's go ahead and create our first camera. Click on this button here and press camera. Now straight away you'll see the camera is highlighted here. And it's in black, so it doesn't mean we're looking through the lens of that camera until I press that white button there. And now we're looking through this camera lens. Okay, so if I can come backwards and forwards, and I'm controlling that camera. This means if I call this render cam, so that's what I'm going to render through that lens. Okay, and now I'm going to give you another camera, and I kind of call this my free look. This means if I click on this one here, I can now zoom out. You see it starts to show me the previous camera. This means that we can kind of look around the scene, make sure everything's looking alright, and we're happy with kind of what that camera's going to be looking at down there. And when I want to switch from this view, which is all the way out here, all I've got to do is press that button, it'll drop me straight back. Pretty good, eh? Does help a lot. Now from here, I want to create the lamp shade. So to do that, click on here and go to the tube. So it's good to idea is we're going to create all the model we need first. So we've got this kind of shape here. Yeah, it's good to do is always model everything first and then kind of add all the textures and lighting after, and it's a good process to start with. Right, so in a radius we're going to make this a fabulous 17. Out of 17, I use 36, probably too much, but that's fine. 1, and this is height was about 18.5. There we go. Now you see I'm all the way outside of here. Another really good tip is if I want to look at any one of these, I'll just press the S key. So S key just jumps straight to that. If I jump to the roof, S. If I jump to the cube, S. Very good, eh? So let's go back to my tube, press S, and you see that I now have my lampshade. Okay, so I'm now going to move this into position over hither. S again, catches up with the camera, saves you trying to click and drag that all around the place. You see, very careful to make sure I've got the lines clicked okay on there as well. Now another good thing to do from here is we're guessing roughly where the centre of this draw is. So if I click on our view here, this will give us all types of camera angles, and this is why it's good to get familiar with these. So if I use that top right one, I'm going to drop nice and close. And we see where we are here. This is going to be a lot easier to move. Here's my lamp. Here's kind of my, where is it? It's my cupboard, so, or drawer. So let's name this cupboard like that, so I know what that is. The tube is my lamp shade, like that. So I can just click and drag this. Nice and simple, eh? Makes that whole process a lot easier to gauge what we're looking at here. Let's drag that and just put that there. So we've got a lampshade, our cupboard, and then we've got all our walls. In fact, what we could do to tidy all this up is if I highlight all of that. So I click on the top one, hold down Shift, and click on the bottom one. It highlights all of that area. I'm going to objects and choose group objects. Let's go group all that together, and I'm going to call this house. Like that. There we go. So now all that's separate. So with that done, we've got a lampshade sitting beautifully on top of there. Let's go back to our normal view here. Of course, my normal view is my normal rendering view. And we have a free look camera. Good, cool. We'll start to have an idea of what this is going to look like here. So if I go back to my desktop here, let's have a quick look and see what our image looked like initially. Let's have a little look. Does it look like this lampshade here sitting on the cupboard? So we're going to kind of do something very similar to that. What's this interesting with lampshade is now we have that shape. We can produce any shape we wanted for the actual the column bit from the middle. So there's lots of things that you can do here. Now I'm just going to use something really simple. Is get a simple cylinder. Let's press S and have a look at that. It's very big. So let's drop that. Let's look at the top. S again. And let's go in and make that tiny. There we go. You see I'm using these little orange things to maneuver these around. Now if I look over here, every time I drag one of these orange things around, it will show me the attributes of that. Again, S is helping me a lot here, instead of here. So if I get that somewhere about right now, as you see, it's tough to get it from, make sure that's in the right place. So let's jump to our overhead camera again. Let's have a look inside. There we go. We can kind of get that somewhere near. And what's good is we can zoom in pretty close to this as well. Hello. Misbehaving. Right, let's get that somewhere. About there's fine. Now let's make it a nice bit thinner. Good job, okay. It's pretty good to me. Now again, I just grab that top bit, probably make it a little bit thinner. You see as I drag it down. Just roughly getting that somewhere near inside of there. Okay, so we've got a simple cylinder inside of there. And of course, there's lots we can do here to create a base. So what I'm going to do is going to press Command C, Command V. And all that's done is it's created a another cylinder. Now what I'm going to do is with this second cylinder, I'm going to make it small. And then make it fat, right? There we go, so that becomes our little base here. Just like that. It's good to give these polygons some edges and things like that. We can put a cap on here. Could fillet the edges like so. So I went to the caps here with that bit there, and went to the fillet button there. We can drag that wherever you want to about there. Now let's Command C, Command V. Let's copy and paste that one. The idea is we can go a little bit smaller on that. I'd like to do something different for the demo. There we go. That was pretty good. Now another thing we can do is to maybe give it a little bit more realism, is to give the lamp a little kind of frame, like a wire mesh sort of frame inside. Lots of ways we can do this. I think one of the options is if I take this initial drawer here. Let's take the drawer, cupboard, sorry. Okay, hello, my mouse is being funny today. Command C, Command V. So copy and paste. Hold that little corner there, drops that beautifully nice and thin there. Drag the edges like so. What I'm going to do is drag that up above here. So the idea is if I go to my top view again, go inside, what we're trying to do is give it that, you know, like a lampshade is kind of holding the bulb in situ. So we're going to make sure that that kind of is something like this. So it's really thin. There's normally quite a few of them. To the left a little bit. Drag it out. Again, just give the idea that there's a little like a wire mesh frame holding that lamp in position. Command C, Command V. Let's give me a second one. Again, we'll just hold down the Shift key, and it gives me a perfect 90 degree. Whoops. It should give me a perfect 90 degree. There we go. Again, I can just go to my other object under there. And there we go. So somewhere near being circular. There we go. Let's jump to there. There's a little lamp. If I come underneath, I can see we've got this kind of like frame inside here. So we've done a little bit of modelling there. Let's start to put all this together. Let's highlight all of that. Go to Objects, Group Objects, and name this lamp frame. Okay, so now we've got a lamp frame. Let's move our two cameras above that. So we click and hold and drag those out of the way. So, good idea is press Command S. Let's quickly save this to lamp. Good idea to save that right now before we start doing more. So from here, as I said, conventionally we would have done all that in Cinema 4D, no problem, as normal. But now we're going to go ahead and see what actually creating something in Maxwell is going to help this look really, really good, and using some Maxwell resources as well.